السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
بسم الله الذي لا إله سواه الواحد الأحد الفرد الصمد الذي لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. والحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه حمدا أبدا سرمدا ما دامت السماوات والأرض ومن بعد أن تزولا، حمدا يليق بجماله وجلاله، حمدا يليق بكماله في جماله وجلاله، حمدا يليق بجزيل وعظيم عطائه ونعمائه، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف أنبيائه سيدنا مولانا محمد الصادق الأمين الرسول المبين المبعوث رحمة للعالمين، وعلى آله التقيين النقيين الطيبين الطاهرين، أصحابه الغر الكرام الصالحين الميامين، والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم اجعلنا منهم آمين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته says Allah عز وجل ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. For you have attained faith. اتقوا الله, have taqwa in our hearts for Allah عز وجل. Be Allah conscious. Guard your minds, your hearts, your souls, your words, your actions, your reactions. Guard them against that which brings upon us the displeasure of Allah Azza wa Jal and to be distant from Him. And do that with truthfulness, haqqa tuqat, with fervor. وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. Do not die except in a state of Islam. Yes, we do not have a choice about when to die, nor where to die. We do have a choice about how to die. Do not die except in a state of Islam. ألا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Make sure we live our lives in preparation for the ultimate moment, no matter what we do in this life. We must be in preparedness for the ultimate encounter with the divine subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that we leave this dunya in a state of Islam, of loving surrender of our hearts and minds and spirits and souls, words and deeds, all in loving surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. الإسلام كما أخبر صلى الله تعالى عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم أن يسلم قلبك لله تعالى. First, Islam, he said, صلى الله عليه وسلم, in the essence of Islam is when your heart surrenders to Allah. Your emotions, your feelings, your drives, your likes, your dislikes, your attachments, your detachments. That's all in loving surrender to Him Azza wa Jal. الإسلام أن يسلم قلبك لله. Islam is not, inshallah, it's not لقلقة لسان. Islam is not physical motion of our tongues and say, I am a Muslim. Islam حال. Islam is an internal condition first. And يسلم قلبك لله. Consequently, then, your actions, your deeds, your choices that you make in life, in all spheres of life, and of which وأن يسلم المسلمون من لسانك ويدك. And he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that the Muslims are safe from your tongue and your hand, i.e., from all sorts of power that you have, the power of the tongue, the power of writing, the power of speaking, the power of arguing, the power of debating, the power of responding, all of that power of logic that Allah gave you, of rationality, and the skills that you have to express all of that. None of that should be used by us to hurt fellow Muslims and in general fellow human beings. Your hand, power, represents control, power, military power or political power or physical power or athletic power, any power that we search for and we seek as human beings in this world. Al-Jah, Sultan. That none of that is used to hurt fellow Muslim, in particular, and in general, fellow human beings. يسلم الناس من لسانه ويده. Dear brothers and sisters. Secondly, says Allah Azza wa Jalla, Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind, inna wa'da Allahi haqq. Verily, the promise of Allah is true. فلا تغرنكم الحياة الدنيا ولا يغرنكم بالله الغرور. Don't let dunya, life of this world and the resources of life in this world, al-mal wal-jah, wealth and power, don't let that don't let that delude you, i.e. make you feel somehow special as you are and you assume a specialness with God Himself, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't let your our status in this dunya. If we have dunya, don't let that delude us that we have also a special status with Allah. فلا تغرنكم الحياة الدنيا ولا يغرنكم بالله الغرور. And don't let the deluder in your relationship with Allah delude you. And who is the deluder? شيطان. الغرور بصيغة المبالغة. الغرور, the one who is deluded and deluding. مغرور ويغر. Don't let that gharur, because he evaluated himself more than what he really is. مغرور بالله. Allah tells him subhanahu wa ta'ala, usjud li Adam. He says, doesn't make sense to me. I am of fire and he's of clay. He reasoned in his own way, thinking that his reasoning is always correct. So he reasoned, استعمل قياس, he used an analogy. I'm of fire. You created me, Allah, of fire. You created him of clay. How could fire prostrate itself to clay? Fire is better than clay. He argued. اغتر بما عنده. He deluded himself on account of what he was. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made him. And he evaluated himself more than he really is. Intellectually, rationally, and of course racially. Gharur, he said, don't let the gharur do that to you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from us and from the gharur in his ghurur and taghrir of us. إنه لطيف لما يشاء. قال صلى الله تعالى عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم من جعل الهموم هما واحدا هم المعاد كفاه الله سائر همومه ومن تشعبت به الهموم في أمور الدنيا لم يبال الله في أي أوديتها هلك. قال صلى الله تعالى عليه وآله وسلم, which means whosoever makes or sets akhirah, the home of the hereafter, as his objective and the orientation towards his objective, that is internally, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. My focus is akhirah, no matter what I do. Everything that happens in this world and that I do, I channel that, I envelop that in my objective and desire for akhirah, for the home, the hereafter, i.e. for Allah Azza wa Jalla. The one who makes all his concerns, all his humum, all his worries, all his focus, all his objectives channeled in one, al-akhirah, al-humum. من جعلها هما واحدا, look what he says. كفاه الله سائر همومه. That person, Allah would suffice him in all his other worries in this world. When the person's inner focus, inner objective, inner orientation, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, is Allah, is the home of the hereafter, that person is liberated from anxieties, depressions, agonies, shattered and scattered internal self into any avenue. وكفاه الله سائر همومه. ومن جعل الدنيا همه فرق الله شمله. فرق الله شمله ولم يؤته من الدنيا إلا ما قدر له. A person who does not do that, who instead focuses mentally, intellectually, rationally, emotionally, psychologically, and maybe even, if you call it spiritually, on dunya, on wealth and power, for wealth and power. Such a person, says Rasulullah, Allah will cause his shaml be dispersed, scattered, shattered inside, not being spiritually monochromatic, but dispersed. And when we are dispersed inside, it feels terrible. We are unable to collect inside of us. We have so many worries, and we're unable to focus them in one channel. Says Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Says he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also, Ya ibn Adam, that Allah Azza wa Jal said in a hadith Qudsi, Ya ibn Adam, O child of Adam, O son of Adam and daughter of Adam, تفرغ لعبادتي. تفرغ لعبادتي. Empty yourself for me, for my ibadah. And the word ibadah is everything that we do that is pleasing to Allah Azza wa Jal, of ibadat or adat or mu'amalat. And everything we feel and we allow ourselves to feel internally, that is also divinely sanctioned and beautiful. عمل القلوب وعمل الجوارح. The deeds of hearts, the actions and deeds of the senses. So, تفرغ, empty yourself for me. Empty your mind, your heart, your soul, your spirit from all sorts of attachments and engagements with other than Him Azza wa Jal, or at the expense of Him Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Not only make yourself available for me. No, تفرغ literally in the Arabic means empty yourself. For me, for my ibadah. If you do, I fill up, says Allah Azza wa Jal. If you do that, you empty that, I fill up. أملأ, I fill up. جواب الشرط. صدرك غنى. Allah, I fill up your chest, your heart with richness. أملأ صدرك غنى وأسد فقرك, and I shall suffice you against poverty. You will never feel poor, whether you have or you do not have. If you have, it is not in your heart, it is only in your external control. It does not own you, you own it. It does not control you, you control it by Allah's leave. أملأ صدرك غنى. Fill up your chest with richness. You will feel rich and powerful inside of you. If not, وإلا تفعل ملأت يديك شغلا ولم أسد فقرك. And if you don't, I will fill up, literally it says, your hands with worries. And I will not suffice you against poverty. No matter what you do, no matter what you have, you will always feel poor and weak. أبى الله إلا أن يذل من عصاه. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فاستغفروه طوبى للمستغفرين. Seek Allah's forgiveness. Allah is oft loving, merciful, and forgiving. الحمد لله وكفى صلى الله على عباده الذين اصطفى اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ومولانا محمد الصادق الأمين والرسول المبين المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله التقيين النقيين الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه الصالحين الغر الكرام الميامين تابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم إنا ضعفاء فقوي في رضاك ضعفنا. يا ربي, we are feeble and weak, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. We are weak. We have nufus, selves that are weak, that are easily impacted by the manipulations of shaitan. Ya Allah, please protect us against us. Don't entrust us to us. Enable us as we read your words, as we read the words of your Nabi, to read them not only with our minds, yes, with sound minds, but with our hearts and our innermost recesses. Enable us, Ya Allah, to understand your words, not to be only shallow and superficial in what we hear about you and your Nabi. Help us against us, for oftentimes we know we want, but we are unable to, because our nafs is too strong, our self is too greedy, it's too selfishly oriented. When we are like that, our hearts are veiled and obscured, and we might see truth, but we do not recognize it to be the truth. And we might see falsehood, but think it is truth. Unless Allah, by His grace, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and through our prayers and efforts, He liberates us from all of that. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه. اللهم أرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم اجعلنا من الذين يستمعون القول ويتبعون أحسنه. اللهم انصرنا وانصر بنا واجعلنا لك ناصرين بك منصورين هادين مهديين صادقين مع الصادقين لا ضالين ولا مضلين لا ظالمين ولا باغين ولا عادين. يا رب يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم ارزقنا النصرة والعزة في غزة وفلسطين ولبنان واليمن وجميع بلاد الدنيا وجميع بلاد المسلمين. يا رب يا أرحم الراحمين. إنا ضعفاء ضعفاء ضعفاء. قو في رضاك ضعفنا وخذ إلى الخير بنواصينا واجعل الإسلام منتهى رضانا. عباد الله، قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر.